Fellow traders, 'tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Monday, May the 26th, Memorial Day. The year's 2025. Let's talk trading, weekly, open, and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And risk management, even on a holiday, always make sure your risk management is in place so you don't lose more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade or during any one single session. So we take a look at the week. You can see that the dashboard shows all the gaps have filled. Remember the last couple of weeks we had more than just a couple of gaps that had not filled. And seems like most pairs gap down. In fact, all but one. And right now, the pound is 41 pips above the open and 41 pips above the low. Now notice something. That's 2 weeks in a row where we have not had a lower wick on the weekly chart. So let's see if this weekly open, this gets crossed to the downside this week. If we zoom out to the month, you can see we have put in a new high for the year. And for the day, we are putting in the opening range of the week right now. And it looks like it's about 71, 72 pips. For the year, we're 1,053 pips above the yearly open, 1,463 above the low, and 31 off the high. So notice this, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, we made a new high so far. And we had an inside bar 2 days ago, and its price has exploded out of that area. In fact, it's 121 pips above that daily high from 2 trading days ago. Notice we've got some inside bar actioning across the upper time frames. Range 72, and once again, it is a holiday, so not much movement so far. Only 3 pairs over 100 pips. And as I mentioned earlier, we did not drop below that open. Price just exploded to the upside. And once again, I'm kind of kicking myself. Should have had a pending buy at 35.40 and a sell at the 60 level. It's almost automatic that launch pad area. And you know, something I'm going to talk about, I think, later in the week in another video is why we don't do those things. And spoiler alert, has to do with fear. And it looks like the red rats have already feasted. We're kind of stuck in between right now. Bambino flex indicator said to go long. Price near pivot, supposed to go long, but we haven't come anywhere close. At least that's the H4 pivot. Let's take a look at daily. Sorry. We haven't come close to the daily pivot at all right here at 34.94.9, call it 34.95. And we had a missed H4 pivot in that last chart. Once again, we have not hit today's pivot. We haven't hit the week's pivot. but we have taken out the monthly pivot. In and out of that upper wick zone, which only had a range of, what was it? 2 pips. That upper wick zone. Smart range, we're only 72 pips, so we haven't even moved the needle. We've broken out of the previous high by 54 pips, haven't come close to the previous weekly low, so we have higher low, higher high. M30, even though it is a holiday, past couple of 30-minute candles have given us some range to trade, but it's a holiday. Sometimes it's better just to take a day off. But if you were trading, once again, you had a 3-ball put in, highest low. Also, let's see, this would have been a flip-flop box there. And speaking of flip-flop boxes, there looks like there's one right there. This looks like a return bar to me. So price needs to go back up to about 65. If you believe in return bars. And let's see, we got a new M30 candle now. Another flip-flop box. This would be a short because you want to follow this candle color here. That's the way Walmart likes to play the flip-flop boxes. So basically, you've got a price turn. This would be a continuation. Like we just crossed that open on M30, turned it green. So ATR for the month 463, but we have put in a new high, so let's just take a look here. Take a look at the ATR percent. We're at 98 now. Range by month, 454. So April broke out of the 400 level, so seems like we're right about back to quote-unquote normal. Where are we? Year-to-date accumulated range. We've pushed it by, it's like 150 pips. And close minus open percent. We're now up to 8.41. So anybody holding since the yearly open has been rewarded. That would probably be the big money traders. Actually, year-to-date's accumulated. So let's zoom out to the month. Prices above the upper wick zone, buyers strong control, higher high, higher low on the month. We drop down to the week. Above the upper wick zone of the previous, no, that's the previous week. Buyers strong control. It says fade to pivot sell. To look for it to break the weekly open. Higher high, higher low. And for the day, price above the upper wick zone, strong control, fade pivot sell. Once again, you need to cross the daily open and higher high, higher low. Looking at this price action here, we just turned the M30 red again. So you can see a little zone, about 3 or 4 pips, a range being put in here. Let's see, I think somebody was asking a question about taking profit. And I think what they're looking for is something that most traders look for, and that's the reason most traders lose, is because they're trying to put a can't miss set of rules or formula or trading plan around something that is random and something that isn't really predictable. So, I mean, it's like the market's never the same, even though price might be the same as it was, a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. The chart might look exactly the same, but you could have a totally different outcome. And so what happens is it's alluring to think that, oh yeah, you see a 2 ball, then you can go long. You see a 1 ball, you take profit. But what happens if instead of that 1 ball here, price turns and then all of a sudden it becomes a lower 2 ball or a 3 ball? And that's why you have to be able to, what I said in my typed response, you have to be able to dance with the market, but the market leads. So if you see price turning or stopping and you take profit, that's okay. You just take the profit because it could go against you. Now, of course, it could keep going the same direction for, a dozen or more pips or 100 or more pips. But see, you don't know. So you have to be happy taking those profits. Now, on the other hand, on the risk side, if you're up 5 pips for the day and all of a sudden you get in a trade, now you're only up 4, then 3, then 2. Soon it's like, do you want to give back all your profit? Are you willing to go in the hole? I mean, these are things you can think out ahead of time. And so, for some traders say, well, I take these little profits and then all of a sudden this one loss wipes out, my last 5 profits. That's on you. It's got nothing to do with the system. That has everything to do with your risk and money management. And until you learn that, then you're going to be in trouble, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.